Welcome. If you're staring down the barrel of an SAP S/4HANA migration, you already know this is way more than just an IT project. It's a huge business decision. So in the next few minutes, we're going to break down your strategic choices and help you find the clearest path forward.
So what's the big rush? Honestly, this isn't just a technical question anymore. That 2025 deadline for mainstream SAP support is looming, and the clock is seriously ticking. This is moved from the server room to the boardroom. It's a pressing business reality every leader needs to get a handle on, and fast. Here's our game plan. We're going to follow this really clear roadmap. We'll start with why this is so urgent. Then we'll explore your three main options. After that, I'll give you a solid framework for making a decision. And finally, we'll help you figure out the absolute best path for your company's future. Okay, first things first. Let's really get to the heart of why we're even having this conversation right now. It all comes down to that 2025 imperative. That 2025 deadline has caused a pretty interesting shift in how companies are thinking. Instead of this frantic all-or-nothing rush with these massive disruptive projects, a lot of folks are getting smarter about it. They're choosing these staged modernizations that actually protect the investments they've already made. It's less about a forced, painful cutover and way more about a smart, strategic evolution. All right, so what are your choices? Let's make this easy. Think of it like a home improvement project. Are you looking to renovate, completely rebuild from the ground up, or do a major remodel? First up, you've got the brownfield approach. This is basically your renovation. You're upgrading what you already have, keeping the foundation and the structure you know and love. You just build on top of your existing system, using your current data and configurations to make that direct conversion to S/4HANA. And here is the real trade-off, right? The brownfield path is faster, it's cheaper, and your teams are already familiar with it. That's the good news. But the downside? You drag all your old baggage with you. That technical debt isn't just a geeky term, it's a real anchor on your business, slowing you down and making it way harder to adopt down the road. It can really put a cap on your ability to innovate. Option number 2, the greenfield approach. This is the total teardown and rebuild. You're starting with a completely clean slate. That means a brand new, fresh implementation, letting you redesign everything to take full advantage of all the cool stuff S/4HANA can do. And this table just lays it out perfectly. This path is high risk, high reward. The upside is huge. You get a clean slate, optimized processes, incredible performance. And when we talk about innovation, we're talking about really using those game-changing features, like embedded AI for predictive insights. But the downside is just as big. It's expensive, it takes a long time, and it's super disruptive to your daily operations. And finally, we have the blue field approach. Think of this one as a major remodel with a shiny new extension on the house. It's a hybrid. It tries to give you the best of both worlds. You get to selectively move your most valuable data and processes while adopting new S/4HANA features where they'll make the biggest splash. So Bluefield really offers this compelling middle ground. You get the flexibility to pick and choose what you keep and what you transform, which lets you balance that shiny new innovation with some good old-fashioned stability. But while it definitely lowers the risk of a full rebuild, this hybrid method brings its own kind of complexity, and it requires some seriously careful planning. So, how in the world do you actually choose between these very different paths? Well, you need a structured way to compare them side by side, and that's exactly where a decision framework comes into play. We're going to use something called the SAP Migration Strategy Evaluation Framework, or SMSEF for short. It's a really simple but powerful tool that looks at each option across two key areas: the value it can bring to your business and the risk you'll take on to get there. All right, let's get practical. It's time to actually apply this framework. We're going to put some numbers to this and see what the data really tells us about each of these migration paths. The method is super straightforward. We score each approach on a simple 5-point scale for both value and risk. For value, higher is better, more bang for your buck. For risk, lower is better, less headache, less cost, and less disruption. Simple as that. So, when we look at the final scores, a really clear picture starts to emerge. Greenfield, it delivers the absolute highest value at a 5.0, but it also carries the highest risk at 4.2. Brownfield is the complete opposite, low value and low risk, both sitting at 2.2. And Bluefield, well, it lands right in that sweet spot in the middle, offering a solid value of 3.6 with a much more manageable risk of 3.4.
Numbers are great, but sometimes a picture is worth 1,000 spreadsheets, right? Let's plot these scores to get one single powerful snapshot of all your options.
By just dropping these scores onto a simple 2x2 grid with value going across the bottom and risk going up the side, the strategic position for each approach just pops. It becomes instantly obvious. And there it is. This chart brilliantly illustrates the core strategic choice you have to make. Down in the bottom left, you've got brownfield in the low-risk, low-value zone. That's your safe, steady choice. Way up in the top right is greenfield, the high-risk, high-value, go big or go home play. And Bluefield, it's right there in the middle. So the question for you is, are you trying to optimize for minimal disruption, or are you aiming for maximum transformation? At the end of the day, you have to match the migration path to your biggest business goals. So if your top priority is a cheap, low-disruption move, Brownfield is your ticket. If you are aiming for a total business transformation and you've got the budget and team to back it up, then Greenfield is the way to go. And if you need to strike that perfect balance between innovation and risk, well, Bluefield is probably your best bet. Okay, so we've walked through the options, the trade-offs, and a framework to help you make a data-driven choice. So what's the final takeaway? What's your next move? If there's one thing you should take away from all this, it's that there is no single best answer that fits everyone. This framework gives you the right questions to ask, but the final call has to be based on your company's unique situation, your systems, your budget, and your goals. Doing a custom study isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely essential. And really, it all boils down to this one question. Your next step is to take this framework back to your team, have these tough conversations, and figure out the answer that's going to set you up for success, not just for 2025, but for the whole decade to come.